We start things off from Reuters. U.S. Sea drone rescues crew from U.S. Army helicopter that crashed near Hormuz. We're seeing some historic events happen now under the Trump administration, as well as the Middle East, or I should say historic events are continuing to happen under Donald Trump, and this one is extraordinary for you guys here on the Friday Vlog. In a first, a Navy surface drone found and rescued 2 crew members from an Army Apache attack helicopter that went down in waters near Oman's coast, the U.S. military told Reuters, and Donald Trump said the pilots were fine. The U.S. military Central Command said the AH-64 Apache went down around 3 a.m. local time on Tuesday near the coast of Oman while patrolling regional waters. And we'll get into what happened there, but this was quite extraordinary to see that they were rescued by this drone. And we see here, as Trump said, as from the article, Trump says pilots are fine after a U.S. helicopter crashes near Strait of Hormuz. And as of now, most people know this because, of course, this recording is done on a Thursday, and these events happened earlier in the week. And as you can see here, it had some pretty serious coverage here from all the different sides of the media. And we're going to go over here to Benny Johnson, and we're going to listen to the Fox report so you guys can understand what happened and some additional news that we have learned here since this time.
Let's start with a story the president told me, new details about the downing of this U.S. Army Apache helicopter. President Trump tells Fox News that the Iranian drone lodged in between the 2 pilots in this helicopter. They were flying very low. And at that point, the drone didn't explode as it had intended to. And so these pilots were trying to take down the helicopter with the drone lodged into this gunship without it exploding. And at any moment, it could have exploded, the president told me. And he said it was on fire. There was a lot of heat inside the cockpit of this helicopter. And ultimately, these 2 pilots were able to take it down into the sea, where ultimately they were rescued for the first time in U.S. military history by an unmanned sea drone. So the latest information that we got from President Trump about that helicopter that went down earlier this week, really a remarkable story. The president called it a miracle. This drone hits the Apache helicopter, lodges between the 2 pilots. It's on fire, and there's a massive amount of heat coming out of the drone, but it doesn't explode. And these pilots very quickly, within seconds, because they're flying very low, take the helicopter down into the sea. And then ultimately, about 2 hours later, according to U.S. Central Command, they are rescued for the first time in U.S. military history.
All right, guys, I hope it didn't repeat. I had to step away from the microphone, but I wanted to play it for you guys so you could see here. And as we're understanding it, it did lodge itself in the helicopter. Now, these Shahed drones come with a 200-pound explosive ordnance on the front of it. And it didn't explode. And there's several things here. Now, as I understand, I'm trying to recall whether it was the UAE or Oman were using Apaches to shoot down these drones that were coming into their country. As you know, the IRGC has been launching these things towards friendly, American-friendly nations there in the Middle East. That's Oman, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and areas there in the Middle East. And they've been shooting them down with Apaches. And, of course, they go on patrol over there. And there's any number of particular speculations as to what may have happened. And it could have been that the Apache ran into it. Because the detonation may have not gone off based on the timing and distance of the drone. Now, of course, I don't want to sit here and continue to speculate on it all, as we understand it, of course, but it is quite an extraordinary miracle without a doubt. And, we all pray for our service members, and hopefully this was one of those answered prayers regarding what happened there. Now, this is a bit of a dramatization here of what took place here from Cat Armstrong. As you can see here, you have the drone boat here, and we'll get into the name, but it is used by the Task Force 59. I'm just going to play a short clip of it. It's just an AI.
Mayday, mayday! Apache down, requesting immediate extraction. Waves are rough, but we're stable. Help is closing in.
And they're back in the helicopter. Quite extraordinary because we're all talking about AI and operating as AI, and our good friend here from the channel that I often watch mentioned that it was like a pickup of a Waymo. Came and picked them up. That'd be Ryan Macbeth. Now, I asked my crack staff. As you guys know, I have a crack staff here. We make sure that you guys stay as informed as possible, and I try to narrow all of it down. We see here the Navy's name for the drone boat is the Corsair Unmanned Surface Vehicle, the USV, often shortened to simply Corsair. It was built by Saronic Technologies and operated by the U.S. Navy Task Force 59er. And you can see here it's Corsair, Chorus, USV. All refer to the same 24 autonomous drone boat. Quite extraordinary that AI now is being used, as you see here, my large language model, ChatGPT, my crack staff. Then we have, Cat using probably Grok made image. They have an extraordinary video image creation now. If you really want the high-end part of the creation image there, you got to kind of pay for the premium for it. But, if you're into video and doing these videos and so forth, then that would be possible. And, of course, from Fox News, if you guys want to check any of these out, you can always look them up on X. Go here to Benny Johnson. You can find them. Quite an extraordinary turn of events. I'm so grateful that these pilots survived. Apparently, they must have gone in the water because of the fact that the drone was lodged in there. And if they continue to fly and continue to build up heat and other things, it may have detonated. And as I said, as Ryan McBeth covered on his channel, talking about it having a 200-pound warhead on there. And you may have seen some of the images from those Shahed drones, either when they go into buildings in the Ukraine or in parts of UAE and Oman and other regions here, as in Saudi Arabia. They do an extensive amount of damage. So them hitting a helicopter like the Apache would have just completely dismantled the helicopter had it ignited. Now, of course, we try to keep it light here on the Friday Vlog, but I thought the story was absolutely extraordinary. And we already know that Michael Bay is putting a movie together for the rescued F-15 pilot there, Bravo. And, well, now they have another story they could potentially do here. And I'm not saying that the war should continue so that we can have movie generation or entertainment. I just find it extraordinary that we're seeing all of this high-level activity. And I would say also part of it has to do with the Trump administration, because he's letting the military do their job, right? It's not being run from the desk of congressmen who are concerned about how these optics look. And, of course, we know now how it's impacting our economy and how it's impacting things here in our country and even around the world, the perception here. But in my own personal opinion, the IRGC has been holding that country hostage under the Islamic radical individuals there. And you know, in a perfect world, I'd like to see it liberated so that the people of Iran can live their life before as of the time before it was hijacked in 1979. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, so avail yourselves of that. If you order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, you can use my landing page link. Your privacy is protected. And speaking of privacy online, my favorite virtual private network, VPN Trust Zone, is down there. You guys can check it out. No fuss, no bloat. Get you straight to what you want to do. But I want to thank all you guys across NewTek, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey for your guys' continued support. And of course, everyone here on YouTube. Appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notification. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.